Hello, well, it's Shotgun into 1000 point for duty. Welcoming you back to more Pokemon HeartGold. Last time, we announced that we got a new member for our team to replace Heracross, even though Heracross is on our team, Pinsir. And we also discovered that this dancing tree that was blocking our way was actually a Sudowoodo, who is a Pokemon. This time, we're going to be moving onwards on our journey towards a new route. After finding ourselves a new item, the Hyper Potion. Hyper Potions are a broken potion healing item to have very early in the game, because they heal 200 of a Pokemon's max health, and none of our Pokemon even actually reached 100 yet. So, yeah, kind of broken to say the least. But here we go, we are in Route 37. And there are a lot of trainers to battle here, specifically in double battles. And there is one new Pokemon that you can actually find here in Route 37. But we roughly kind of already went over it when we mentioned Pidgey for the very first time. Yeah, you kind of got the whole twist. It's Pidgeotto, the evolved form of Pidgey. If you choose not to evolve Pidgey and went for Spearow instead, you will be able to find a Pidgeotto here. Same case scenario with his stats. It's really fast, balanced attacker, but any rock, ice or electric types might get this Pokemon sent packing. It can be a good Pokemon to use, but having Air Slash be its most powerful attack by leveling up is not relatively helpful to say the least when it comes to that Pokemon. And yes, you probably might be thinking, wait, why do I say Air Slash is not a good move for Pidgeotto? Honestly, it is. It's just sometimes some Pokemon that can learn a certain move that looks like it might be helpful for the Pokemon doesn't end up being helpful for that Pokemon at all. Like, say, you're teaching a Pokemon the move Air Slash when they're not a flying type to help beat their weaknesses. You think, oh, I can actually beat a grass type easily, or a bug type easily, no problem, or a fighting type Pokemon, no problem. But what if they might be a rock type that resists flying type moves? You see my gist. It's also like teaching a Pokemon an electric type move to beat their weakness to water or flying. If you deal with a water type Pokemon or a flying type Pokemon as a part ground type, then the electric move is going to be useless for that Pokemon. And obviously here we got another blue Apricorn and black Apricorn. But we have the last Apricorn we have yet to be introduced to. You can obviously see its color, but if the screen is blurring because of the fact it's too close to the iPad camera, I do apologize. This is a red Apricorn. The only Apricorn that actually has his entire color spelled correctly, because blue is spelled B-L-U, black is spelled B-L-K, white is spelled W-H-E, I'm wanting to say. But red is the only color that's actually 3 letters long, so it fits this entire description perfectly. If you give a red Apricorn to the Pokeball creator Kurt, he will create level balls, which is actually a really good move a really good Pokeball to have, because its catch rate increases depending on the level gap difference between your Pokemon and the wild Pokemon you're trying to catch. I will go over the level balls mechanic right now, since I got the Pokeball up. It normally has a 1 times catch rate if the Pokemon is less than or equal level to the wild Pokemon. Which is kind of weird to say this. So it could be something along the lines of, if the Pokemon is higher level than you, same level as you, or well, you kind of get the gist. It has a ×2 catch rate if the Pokemon that you're trying to catch I was like thinking, wait, why is it like saying it in that scenario? But as you realize, I was reading it awkwardly. So yeah, restarting that. It has a ×2 catch rate if your Pokemon is higher level than the wild Pokemon, but the wild Pokemon's level is less than double of yours. So like say for instance, if I brought out Pinsir, who is currently level 22, if I encounter a wild encounter that is either level 12 to level 21, it will have a ×2 catch rate. So I was wrong about the ×1 catch rate thing. So it's like, if your Pokemon is less level to the wild Pokemon, or the wild Pokemon is equal level to you, it'll be a ×1. It'll be a ×2 if you're higher level than the opposing Pokemon, but also if they are less than double of your level, which would be 11 for Ghastly right now. And Ghastly's wanting to learn Sucker Punch. That could be a useful move, but if you want me to be honest with you about something, if you have a Ghost type Pokemon on your team, don't teach it a Dark type move. Reason why is because Dark types and Ghost types both beat the exact same type, and you're not going to be getting a Dark type stab with a Ghost type Pokemon. You really aren't. Going back to the level ball. So we already know about the ×2 catch rate. It will have a ×4 catch rate if the Pokemon that you're using is more than double the level of the wild Pokemon, but is less than 4 times the level. So again, if, say, a Pokemon was level 24, divide 24 by 4, and you will get 6. If you're catching a level 6 Pokemon with a Pokemon that is level 23, it will have a ×4 catch rate. But if, and I am serious about this, so don't worry about this, because you notice that it's got Clefable and Wigglytuff. You can use Dragon Rage on these two because they are not fairy types. As of not yet. They will be in Generation 6, but they're not in this current game. I know it sounds really weird because we had Wigglytuff and Clefable in Let's Go Eevee, and they were fairy types in that game. So it's kind of going off order. It's like we go to a Generation 7 game that shows fairy types, to then go back in time to do a Generation 4 game that doesn't have fairy types, and then eventually in the future we'll go back into Generation 6 where they bring the fairy type Pokemon right back. I know it's weird, I do apologize about the whole planning malarkey of the LP, but I wanted to show the Generation 1 region first in some way, and I couldn't do it with Pokemon Yellow, Fire Red, or Leaf Green, or whatever. I couldn't do it that way. But anyway, if your Pokemon, like I was saying earlier on, is 4 times the level as the wild Pokemon you're trying to catch, like what I said earlier, if your Pokemon is level 24 and your opposing Pokemon in the wild is level 6, no matter what, you will have an 8 times catch rate. And I repeat, 8 times. But there is something else listed for the level ball, but it's talking about something that I do not want to go over until we do the actual generation of that game where it shows that mechanic. So that's all I've basically got to to mention about the level ball. Sorry, I was just typing something down on the video I was uploading. Okay, our mum's calling us. Okay, she's bought another item. I think the items do indeed get better the more gyms you defeat. I think. I could be wrong on that. Nothing born down there. But yeah, that's all of Route 37. Not really a big route, honestly. But we've now entered Ecruteak City. I always pronounce this as Ecruteak City, but it's called Ecruteak. Or somewhat, I don't know. Hi, I'm Bill, and who are you? Ash, huh? You know what? I'm the one who developed the system to transfer Pokémon, but it couldn't have been done by me alone. For example, do you know the Hoenn region? This girl, Lynette, from Hoenn, made the Pokémon storage system easier to use. My friends all over the world are working together to improve the Pokémon trade and storage systems. I have to hurry on back to Goldenrod and see my folks. Now, he mentions about the Hoenn region since this is a Generation 4 game. And Hoenn is specifically focused on Generation 3. So, yeah, we're going to deposit Pidgey for the time being. And the reason why I am doing this is because now that you've met Bill, you want to go back to Goldenrod City immediately. Why do you want to do this? Well, you will very, very, very shortly see. I just hope I can actually get there quickly enough. And when I say quickly, I mean riding on my bike and not get jumped on by a wild Pokemon. Well, there's Stantler. Sorry, Stantler. I do not want to catch you at the moment. What did I just say? I said I don't want to catch you. You are an interesting Pokemon, don't get me wrong. I haven't actually used a Stantler before in my entire life, and I do want to use one soon. But I just can't think of the right convenient moment to actually do it. Now, we could go through National Park, but there's a shortcut down that way. I am obviously not going to do that because I'm going to get ambushed by Pokemon constantly again. I know. Every DS game, it is a common trend. You go in the grass, and you get jumped on by wild Pokemon like every 7 steps. And another thing I'm actually finding a little bit annoying is like I'm actually doing talking constantly, and I can see saliva jumping out of my mouth even though I'm not spitting. It's like you open your mouth and you have like a bubble in your mouth and it just bursts a crap ton of saliva all over the place. I have that happen to me tons of times, and I've just seen it go over my iPad screen 3 times. So yeah, this house we were entered earlier on. This is Bill's house, and you want to have a free Pokemon slot in your party. Hi Ash. Would you do something for me and take this Eevee? It came over when I was adjusting Pokemon Wi-Fi connection, which has been taken down years ago, by the way, so don't fret about that. Someone has to take care of it, but I don't like being outside. Can I continue to play with it, Ash? I knew you'd come through. You're the real deal. Way to go. Okay, I'm counting on you. Take good care of it. We have received Eevee. Just like our starter Pokemon in Let's Go Eevee. We're not going to give Eevee a nickname, obviously. Professor Elm said Eevee can evolve into 7 different kinds of Pokemon. What he says there is true in Generation 4, but this is a Generation 2 remake, and 2 of the 7 forms of Eevee you are not able to get at all in this game. The only way you can is by trading Eevee into Pokemon Platinum, Diamond, and Pearl, evolving them into the 2 Pokemon you can't get in HeartGold or Silver in that game, and then trade them back. That's the only way. So going over Eevee as a Pokemon, and this is going to take the rest of the episode. Eevee is basically a Pokemon version of Jesus, known to evolve into many possible ways. And the reason why I say this is because Jesus is kind of known to evolve the way how we express religion. So it kind of makes rough sense about that. In Generation 1 / Let's Go Eevee, where you focus specifically on the Gen 1 mechanic of a Gen 7 game, it only had 3 evolutions at the time, being Flareon, who evolves by a Firestone, who is average in speed, powerful in its attack, but not so hot at taking hits. Its most powerful fire type move by leveling up is Fire Blast at level 71. I wouldn't recommend the stress of leveling it up that far just to get the TM for it and teach it that way. Would be, as you know, well, basically, yeah. I wouldn't stress yourself out of leveling up your Flareon all the way up to level 71 to learn Fire Blast when you can just get the TM for it in the game anyway. It's much more quicker to teach it in by TM than it is by leveling up. But that's actually how you get a Flareon by a Firestone. If you had a Water Stone, it would be a Vaporeon. Vaporeon is basically a HP sponge. It's not great when it comes to speed or physical defense, but it is great with everything else. It can learn Aurora Beam at level 36, which covers its grass type weakness, but it is also an interesting move because it has a 33.2% chance of lowering the opponent's physical attack. It can also learn Acid Armor at level 64, which sharply raises his physical defense every time you use it. It is actually a good combo for the move Aurora Beam, but you would be finished with the main story by the time you actually get a chance to teach Vaporeon that move. Sorry. But when you get a Thunderstone, you can evolve Eevee into Jolteon, who is really fast, amazing in special attack, but it lacks in everything else. It can learn some good electric attacks by TM, but by leveling up, it would be stuck with learning Thundershock until level 43, where it can learn Thunderfang. But the better moves are Thunder at level 71 and Discharge at level 78. And that is not even worth your time of the wait. And now, specifically for Generation 2, these are the brand new Eevee evolutions that was introduced in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. First off, Espeon. And the Espeon, you already know back when I did my Pokemon Coliseum LP, but for those who don't actually recall, Espeon is the first mechanic of a Pokemon that you get given in this game where the Soothe Bell comes into hand. This evolution can only evolve if you've built a friendship together with Eevee and leveled it up during the daytime, which is from, I'm wanting to say, it's based on, oh god, there's 3 different times a day where it's like morning, day, and night, and each and every day focuses on an 8-hour schedule. I'm wanting to say From 4 in the morning till 12 in the afternoon is in the morning. 12 in the afternoon till 8 in the evening, it will be daytime. And 8 in the evening till 4 o'clock in the morning, it will be nighttime. That's the whole mechanic of Pokemon HeartGold, in case you're wondering. But, yeah. You have a better chance of evolving Eevee into an Espeon than his counterpart that is new to Generation 2, Umbreon. Because Umbreon is like Espeon, but you can only evolve it during the nighttime. Going over these two Pokemon, turning off the volume because I don't want to get distracted. So yeah, the best way you can do of evolving Eevee into Espeon is by doing the following of either walking around with Eevee in your first party slot, feeding it berries it likes, having massages, which you can do in Goldenrod's area, or more likely haircuts. The most expensive haircuts are actually the best way to go for this one, to say the least. Or just by simply leveling it up in general. But it will lose friendship the more times it's been knocked out in battle, or if you feed it a berry it doesn't really like. Espeon, though, is a bit like Abra. It's really fast, it has huge special attack, low defense physically, but overall a fantastic Pokemon to use. It can learn Psychic at level 64, but it is better to teach it by a TM if you don't have the patience. But it can learn Psybeam, which is a weaker Psychic move, but it does have a chance of confusing the opponent. Otherwise, you can teach it Future Sight, which is a more powerful move, but you have to wait 3 turns in order for the move to activate. And during that time, you gotta make sure that, hang on, somebody can just switch in a Dark type Pokemon and immediately be like, ha, we are immune to your Future Sight. Not necessarily the case, because with Future Sight, in early gens, if I can actually find the webpage, it had a mechanic where in Generation 2 to Generation 4, it was able to hit Dark-type Pokemon, and it can hit Pokemon with Wonder Guard for the ability, which I think is very, very silly, because throughout all my life of learning Future Sight, or dealing with an opponent that's got Future Sight, I always brought in a Dark-type Pokemon in Generation 5 onwards, and as you can pretty much tell, it was immune to the attack. I thought I could actually try doing it in Generation 4, but honestly, it says you can attack Dark-type Pokemon in Generation 2 to Generation 4 with Future Sight, which makes no sense because Dark types have an immunity to psychic attacks, which I find very, very silly. So yeah, the move. Wait, hang on. For the move to activate. Wait, Future Sight has it. Hang on. It says it has a 10% chance to miss. It has a base power of 80. But, you know, I actually have no idea what I've written down here, honestly. It says it has a 10% chance of missing, if it does or somewhat, but I don't think it does, honestly. I'm actually dragging this on a little bit, so I'm going to move on to Umbreon, who was actually registered as being the first ever Dark-type Pokemon in Generation 2, to say the least. Nothing more can be said about what this Pokemon is known to be, because it is incredibly defensive, both physical and special. But also, it is equally as slow as Vaporeon. Sadly, with its low attack stats, it won't be able to adapt with dealing good power, but moves like Assurance, which it can learn level 43, and Payback, which it can learn by TM, are good moves for Umbreon to learn, as they do double damage providing he's taken damage on the same turn using it. But Payback can also do double damage if the opponent does the following of either switching out a Pokemon or using a healing item only in Generation 4. In Generation 5, they got rid of that mechanic. But since this is a Generation 4 game, you can do the whole mechanic of battling a gym leader, they use a healing item, and you use Payback and do double the damage. And that is broken as hell when it comes to the mechanic of Generation 4. And that's all the new encounters I've got time to actually mention, unfortunately. There are some Pokemon you can technically find in Ecruteak City, but honestly, we are best to go over that when we got a certain something, which we will get given in the future. Next time on Pokemon HeartGold, we will be exploring the town of Ecruteak City. See you guys then.